We did this. Tulimaliza hii. Oh, this was the only question we did. So that's December 2021. Okay, so tuangalie hii sitting ya December 2021. So we did question 2. Now we did question 3, which was on employment. Did we, by any chance, could we have done question 4? Kenkoff, your investment allowances. Question 4, Kenkoff. Hiyo tumefanya. Because nafikiri hata question 5 tumefanya. Hiyo pata PLC. Yes, question 4. Unasema? Question 4 Question 4 ya Kenkoff bado. Nyinyi tulifanya na nyinyi question 5. Yeah. So tutafanya question 4. And question 1. Okay, sawa sawa. So tuanze na question 4. Brandy alikuwa anasema ni yeye. Sawa sawa tu, tuna record. Question 4 says, summarize 4 roles of the Senate Budget Committee in public finance matters as provided under the PFM Act 2012. So we'll put down the role of the Senate, the role of the Senate in public finance, the role of the Senate in public finance, the role of the Senate in public finance, the first rule, the role of the Senate, proposal for the basis of allocating revenue. Proposal for the basis of allocating revenue. Proposal for the basis of allocating revenue among the counties. Proposal for the basis of allocating revenue among the counties. Proposal for the basis of allocating revenue among the counties. And consider any bill. And consider any bill. And consider any bill dealing with county financial matters. Proposal for the basis of allocating revenue among the counties, and consider any bill dealing with county financial matters. And consider any bill dealing with county financial matters. Next bullet. Review the county allocation of revenue bill. Review the county allocation of revenue bill. Review the county allocation of revenue bill and division of revenue bill. Review the county allocation of revenue bill and the division of revenue bill and the division of revenue bill in accordance with the Constitution, in accordance with the Constitution, in accordance with the Constitution. Next, responsibility to examine financial statements, and other documents, submitted to the Senate, to examine financial statements and other documents submitted to the Senate, to examine financial statements and other documents submitted to the Senate, and make recommendations, for improving the management, of the government's public finances, Then the next role, to monitor adherence by the Senate, to monitor adherence by the Senate, to the principles of public finance, and to the fiscal responsibility principles. Then B, citing 3 reasons, justify the need for introduction of integrated customs management system, ICMS, or similar system in country. Citing 3 reasons, justify the need for introduction of integrated customs management system. So, B, justification for the introduction. Of integrated customs management system. Justification for the introduction of integrated customs management system. Justification for the introduction of the integrated customs management system. The first justification, it has increased efficiency. In faster clearing of imported goods, It has increased efficiency in faster clearing of imported goods. Next, it has increased revenue collection. Due to improved valuation. Of imports. Next, it has reduced interaction. Of customs. Of customs officials with taxpayers. It has reduced interaction of customs officials with taxpayers. Hence, minimizing corruption, hence minimizing corruption, hence minimizing corruption, hence minimizing corruption. Then C, Kenkov Company Limited is a coffee manufacturing company that was incorporated in January. The company commenced its operations on 2nd May 2020 after incurring the following expenditure. Factory land and buildings, 82 million. Conveyor belts, 6.2 million. Furniture and fittings, farm labor quarters, coffee milling machinery, irrigation system, borehole, construction of gabions, lorry of 3.5 tons, fencing of the farm. Then you have a farmhouse, tractor, go down, perimeter, factory perimeter wall, delivery van, trailer for tractor, computers, 2 saloon cars, each costing 3.3 million, sports pavilion. Additional information included in the factory land and buildings is the cost of land valued at 45 million. One of the saloon cars was disposed of during the year for 2.2 million. The following assets were purchased in August: office curtains, fax machine, water pump, packaging machine. Required investment allowances due to Kenkov Company Limited for the year. So C, Kenkov. So factory land and buildings is 82 million. But if you look at note 1, included in the factory land and buildings is the cost of land of 45 million. So land does not qualify for any capital allowances. So to be 82 million minus 45 million in Abaki, that is 7. So if factory building tutatumia 37 million. Alafu tutatafuta ili 18,500. 50% of 18,500. 18,500. The furniture found in the quarters, coffee making machinery, irrigation system, and a borehole. Borehole is 2360. So 50% of 2360. 11. Level 18. That's borehole. Construction of gabions is allowable expense in any farming enterprise. It's capital expenditure, yes, but it's capital expenditure for prevention of soil erosion. So you find that under section 15, allowable expenses. Construction of gabions is allowable. Irrigation system will come under machinery investment allowance. Lorry, fencing of the farm will come under farmworks, farmhouse, tractor, go down. Kuna perimeter wall, so this connected to the factory to bring in perimeter wall of 948. The delivery van, kuna trailer for tractor, kuna computers, kuna 2 saloon cars, kuna sports pavilion. And I think that's it as far as building investment allowance. That will be building investment allowance. So just get the total of this. So 18,500. We add 11, 18. We add 474. And 20. And 54. We bring in commercial. So an exam situation. Percentages for allowance. No, all the percentages. Yeah, in page 1, they're there. They're there. Investment allowances are there. So commercial buildings, we bring in commercial buildings. Commercial buildings will come up down. $1860, 10% is 186. So this is 1674. So that's go down. And the sports pavilion. $16, 56 for sports pavilion. And I think that's it. Isn't your commercial buildings available? Then you come to machinery. Conveyor belts, you have coffee milling machinery. We're still looking for machines, office curtains for the water pump. This one is 7080. For machinery investment allowance, we go to computers if there are any, they're there. So we go to
So give us here. Gas flow, before what is happening for that cost? How much? From 699. From 699.
So of computers of 720.
Good. So I want people in regard to what they promise. So I want the watching. So allow you to make your
So for this is running the computers. The computers. Yeah. What's up? What of 54? 50. So 50. 50. So this is 28, 25, 25. So that's lowly. Then you have tractor. Hello? And you white. You might be able to see the fourth hand or on the road. So we have a tractor. So tractor is 900. Maybe 27. Kuna delivery van. 50. Then kuna saloon car. 2 saloon cars. So 2 saloon cars, the maximum need 6 million, 3 million each. Then kuna disposal, I think. Hapana. Saloon car is a non-commercial vehicle. We said you restrict to 3 million. Gari mbili, 3 ni 6 million, itakuwaje 66? Yeah. So you put only 3 million for each, so that's 6 million. Then 2, one of the saloon cars was disposed during the year for 2.2. So your disposal inahitajiwa kiunit. So that's my disposal of saloon car. Disposal of saloon car. So hii saloon car, the formula unasema unachukua selling price, una divide by purchase cost times 3 million. The selling price for the saloon car is 2.2 million. The purchase price for the saloon car was 3.3. The restriction is 3 million. So this will give us the disposal value. So you need 2 million. That's what you came here on the same disposal. The top of 3 million. The budget 3 million. You need to claim here 25%, which is 7. We need 22. Then, 2 million. 2 million, so we number 4 million. Yes. Yes, 1, yes. Don't worry about that. Just put the disposal, whatever remains, claim the allowance. As long as there is a car remaining, whatever residual, una claim. Kama wangemaliza, then unajiuliza kama wamegain ama wamepoteza. Kama wameuza magari yote. Kama wamepoteza, unaita trading loss. Kama wamegain, unasema trading receipt, una add kwa income. But since hawajauza zote, ile balance inabaki na claim allowance. Because they did not dispose everything. If they dispose everything, unajiuliza kama wamegain ama wamepoteza. So hiyo ni saloon car na hakuna gari nyingine tena. So allowance itakuwa this from here. Hiyo itakuwa to give allowance. You will add that column.
So can you adjust from 2 then we get cash in the operation?
So that's 400. Some furniture. So furniture and fittings is 350. And that's furniture and fittings. Then you have other machinery. The trailer, tractor, trailer, tractor, 20. 10% discount. Office. Fax machine. And your fax machine. Is 118. Is 18. Once you do, then you add that one. Then you get farmer. So you get farmer investment house. You can add a total of. So put 102. Then your farmer. Balance goes down. Balance goes down.
the value of
The farmers labor quarters.
during the year,
Labor quarters na 4.2. Hata hii irrigation system tuliweka in the wrong place. Supposed to be a farmworks. This one. Hii ni farmwork. Irrigation system. It sounded like a sewerage system. Sewerage system will be tough. So irrigation system. So hii ni wrong. Hii ni farmwork. Irrigation system, then fencing. Kuna farmers. So you farm. So tutacorrect figure hii 70, 80 tutatoa, so then 40. Tubaki na 63, 40. Tubaki na 63, 40 machinery investment allowance.
Investing with concentrate data of the non-current cost.
48, 40. Big farm. Investment allowance. Si tumemaliza nini nabaki? I think we are done. Farm quotas ndio hizo ziko hapo. I think those were the investment allowances for that portion. Ndio hizo sasa. Those are the investment allowances. So kwa hiyo sitting tuko na question nyingine. Question 2 tulifanya sabaki. Okay. Question 1. Explain the term pre-qualification procedure as provided under the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act. So this is question 1. Pre-qualification procedure. Pre-qualification procedure as applied to the PPD Act, pre-qualification procedure.
Now you go from one, you read anything example of this, you read about from one of the last two things from one. So let's go to the one. The one that was this less. So that's this you do this and that's now. Those two disposal. That's disposal. Also, like who values our
so pre-qualification procedure, please write. So we say these are procedures used by a procuring entity. These are procedures used by a procuring entity to identify qualified persons, qualified persons, So we say qualified persons identified by use of pre-qualification procedures. Qualified persons identified by use of pre-qualification procedures will be listed under the suppliers, will be listed under the suppliers, suppliers for potential procurement of goods, services, or works, So this happens even before a tender. So the procuring entity may carry out certain procedures to identify those who are qualified, and it is those that will be placed in the entity's data bank, if you will. So in future, whenever something is needed, they don't have to go through, say, advertisements. It is those who have already been listed in the data bank that will be contacted to go competitively, because those who go through our qualification procedures will be a number of enterprises. There could be 5, 8, 10, whatever. But how this serves is later, it is that group that will be given offers to tender. So pre-qualification is done much earlier. Then the records will be kept. So in future, when either goods or services need to be procured, even works, then they have a list of people to contact. They don't need to advertise afresh. It is those in their pre-qualification list that will be contacted to make the supply and so on. Then outlined 6 requirements that an accounting officer should set out when preparing an invitation to tender. An invitation to tender. 6 requirements that an accounting officer should set out when preparing an invitation to tender. So requirements. When preparing an invitation. Requirements when preparing an invitation to tender.
Then once you're done with
Then you just say the procuring entity should prepare specific requirements. The procuring entity should prepare specific requirements. The procuring entity should prepare specific requirements relating to the goods, works or services being procured, relating to the goods, works or services being procured that are clear, and give a correct, and complete description. That are clear and give a correct and complete description. That are clear and give a correct and complete description of what is being procured. That are clear and give a correct and complete description of what is being procured, and allow for fair and open competition. Then you say the specific requirement shall include. The specific requirement shall include. The specific requirement shall include the first bullet. The procuring entity's technical requirements. The procuring entity's technical requirements. The procuring entity's technical requirements with respect to the goods. The procuring entity's technical requirements with respect to the goods. With respect to the goods, works or services. With respect to the goods, works or services being procured. Next point, the technical requirements. The technical requirements. The technical requirements shall relate to performance. The technical requirements shall relate to performance. The technical requirements shall relate to performance rather than design. The technical requirements shall relate to performance rather than design or descriptive characteristics. The technical performance shall relate to, the technical requirements shall relate to performance rather than design or descriptive characteristics. or descriptive characteristics. The next point, the technical requirements shall be based on national. The technical requirements shall be based on national or international standards. The technical requirements shall be based on national or international standards. Next requirement, the technical requirements shall not refer to a particular trademark. The technical requirements shall not refer to a particular trademark. The technical requirements shall not refer to a particular trademark, shall not refer to a particular trademark, name, shall not refer to a particular trademark, name, patent, design, producer or service provider, design, producer or service provider, or to a specific origin, unless, put a colon, the next bullet, there is no other. Unless, put a bullet or a dash, there is no other sufficiently precise. There is no other sufficiently precise or intelligible way. There is no other sufficiently precise or intelligible way. There is no other sufficiently precise or intelligible way of describing them, the requirements. There is no other sufficiently precise or intelligible way of describing the requirements. The next dash, the requirements allow equivalence. The requirements allow equivalence. The requirements allow equivalence to what is referred to. The requirements allow equivalence to what is referred to. The requirements allow equivalence to what is referred to. So those are the requirements. Zimefika ngapi? Peke yake? Those are counted. Each is separate. Zimetosha sita, hizo ndio wanataka. Requirements sita. See, it describes 4 roles played by the Council of Governors, or its equivalent in county financial management. So role of the Council of Governors in county financial management. Role of the Council of Governors in county financial management. Role of the Council of Governors in county financial management. Okay. Role of the Council of Governors in County Financial Management. The first role, to facilitate consultations. To facilitate consultations among the county governments. To facilitate consultations among the county governments. To facilitate consultations among the county governments on public finance matters. To facilitate consultations among the county governments on public finance matters. Next, sharing of information. Sharing of information on the performance of counties. Sharing of information on the performance of counties. Sharing of information on the performance of counties in the execution of its functions. Sharing of information on the performance of counties in the execution of functions. In the execution of its functions. Another rule, considering matters of common interests. Considering matters of common interest. Considering matters of common interest to the county governments. Considering matters of common interest to county governments. Considering matters of common interest to county governments. Considering matters of common interest to county governments. Next rule, dispute resolution between counties. Dispute resolution between counties. Dispute resolution between counties within the framework. Dispute resolution between counties within the framework. Dispute resolution between counties within the framework provided under the intergovernmental. Dispute resolution between counties within the framework provided under the Intergovernmental Relations Act. Within the framework, so the dispute resolution between counties within the framework provided under the Intergovernmental Relations Act. The next rule, promote capacity building for governance. Promote capacity building for governance. Promote capacity building for governance. And then finally, D, the Public-Private Partnership Act provides for the establishment of a fund, refers to as a Public-Private Project Facilitation Fund, or simply Project Facilitation Fund, PFF. In relation to above provision, outline 4 sources of revenue for the PFF. So, sources of revenue for Project Facilitation Fund, sources of revenue for Project Facilitation Fund, I'm a PFF, sources of revenue for Project Facilitation Fund. The first source of revenue, grants and donations. Grants and donations. Grants and donations. Grants and donations. The next source, another bullet. Such levies or tariffs. Such levies or tariffs as may be imposed. Such levies or tariffs as may be imposed on a project. Such levies or tariffs as may be imposed on a project. Such levies or tariffs as may be imposed on a project. Next, success fees paid by a project company. Success fees paid by a project company. Success fees paid by a project company to the PPP unit. Success fees paid by a project company to the PPP unit. Success fees paid by a project company to the PPP unit. Next, appropriations in aid. Appropriations in aid. Appropriations in aid. Then the next source, monies from a source approved. Monies from a source approved by the National Treasury. Monies from a source approved. Monies from a source approved by the National Treasury. So again, sometimes you can be asked on how the money will be applied. The money collected under in the project facilitation fund, but it's all in your notes, right? The money, how to apply the monies in the PFF, how the funds collected. This one was asking about the sources of funding, but sometimes you can also ask about how the money is collected in the PFF are applied. So I think the rest of that sitting we've done. So we move to September 2021. So we leave question 1 because we've just done theory right now. But we'll come back to it. We can start with a different question, like we can even start to. I can even start with question 2.
How much was the So the one you forget, I need to forget. So let's subsidiary. So subsidiary is before.
I'm in a class. Okay. I was trying to look for a write-up on the first part. Sijui inanipotelea wapi, but we'll still answer tu. Nikipata ama nisipopata, there's a write-up I had. Sijui nimeitupa wapi.
the net asset of it. By the time we have to put it off, the net asset is out. You don't have yes. So when you acquire, the total net asset
okay, we'll just answer. Unfortunately, I can't get this. I have some write-up on the first part, but it's okay. So just answer. So inasema hivi, question 2 of September 2021, explain the following attributes that must be considered when preparing a national budget. So we'll begin with this attribute called periodicity. Periodicity. So we say a national budget, a national budget is prepared. A national budget is prepared. A national budget is prepared for a period of 12 months. A national budget is prepared for a period of 12 months. So we say every year, the National Treasury coordinates. Every year, the National Treasury coordinates the process. Every year, the National Treasury coordinates the process of preparing a national budget. Of preparing a national budget. Which has revenues and expenditures, applicable over a period of 12 months. Applicable over a period of 12 months. Applicable over a period of 12 months. Then we have predictability. Predictability. Predictability was referring to so we say the revenue and expenditure items. The revenue and expenditure items in the national budget, the revenue and expenditure items in the national budget should be forecasted, the revenue and expenditure items should be forecasted in a predictable manner, e.g. the tax rates used for collection of revenue. The tax rates used for collection of revenue should be known. should be known, and should remain predictable, and should remain predictable without changing every so often. Then lastly, comprehensiveness. Then you say the national budget should be sufficiently detailed. The national budget should be sufficiently detailed. The national budget should be sufficiently detailed to include. The national budget should be sufficiently detailed to include relevant information. On revenues and expenditure, relevant information on revenue and expenditure, So you say the information contained should have sufficient detail. Information contained should have sufficient detail for purposes of users or implementers. Of the national budget. For purposes of users or implementers of the national budget. Then B says, identify 4 types of reports that the controller of budget is required to prepare in relation to public finance management. Okay. So the question says, identify 4 types of reports. So types of reports prepared by the controller of budget. I'm a COB. Types of reports prepared by the controller of budget. I'm a COB. Types of reports prepared by the controller of budget or COB. The first type, quarterly reports on budget implementation. Quarterly reports on budget implementation. Quarterly reports on budget implementation. Quarterly reports on budget implementation to the executive and parliament. Quarterly reports on budget implementation to the executive and parliament. Quarterly reports on budget implementation to the executive and parliament. Next type of report, annual reports on budget implementation. Annual reports on budget implementation. Annual reports on budget implementation to the President and Parliament. Annual reports on budget implementation to the President and Parliament. Next, special reports to the President. Special reports to the President and Parliament. Special reports to the President and Parliament, e.g. investigation reports, e.g. investigation reports, e.g. investigation reports, and reports on stoppage of funds, investigation reports and reports on stoppage of funds, and reports on stoppage of funds to government units, and reports on stoppage of funds to government units. Next type of report, arbitration and mediation reports. Arbitration and mediation reports. Arbitration and mediation reports to Parliament. Arbitration and mediation reports to Parliament on matters relating to budget implementation. Arbitration and mediation reports to Parliament on matters relating to budget implementation. On matters relating to budget implementation. And the last type, performance reports. Performance reports. Performance reports for the activities of Office of the Controller of Budget. Performance reports for the activities of Office of the Controller of Budget. Performance reports for the activities of Office of Controller of Budget. Then C says S&M Associates is a firm of surveyors registered for VAT purposes. In the month of March, the firm made the following transactions. So revenue from VAT registered customers, revenue from consultant services in Rwanda, revenue from Ministry of Lands contract, revenue from customers not registered for VAT expenditure, legal services, salaries and wages, medical services, motor vehicle fuel, purchase of design materials, motor vehicle insurance, stationery, audit fees, office rent, advertising. VAT withheld by withholding VAT agents was 120,000 during the month. Motor vehicle insurance relates to motor vehicle annual premiums for comprehensive insurance. Pre-transactions that inclusive of VAT at the rate of 16% where applicable. Required to prepare a VAT account for the month of March showing the VAT payable or refund. So we prepare a VAT account. So we are preparing a VAT account for S and M months. So work on revenue from VAT registered customers. So all these transactions are not much. So we have revenue from VAT registered customers. All transactions are inclusive of VAT. So 1790. So you need 247. Then revenue from VAT register, revenue from consultancy services consultants. These are expert services. Revenue from Ministry of Lands contract. This is 205. Then bank overdraft. Apparently there was no bank overdraft. If at all it is there, it's a fraud. Then revenue from customers not registered for VAT doesn't matter. Even if the customers are not registered, we're supposed to charge them VAT. So this is revenue So these are registered customers, but there's no difference from unregistered. It doesn't matter. We'll still charge them VAT anyway. Then the expenditure, we have legal services. That's legal services. Salaries and wages are not subject to VAT. Medical services are also not subject to VAT. Motor vehicle fuel will claim that at 8%. So motor vehicle fuel. So motor vehicle fuel is 125. It's 8 to 1.8. Purchase of design materials. $120. Motor vehicle insurance, there is no VAT on insurance. Insurance is not subject to VAT. So annual premiums are not subject to VAT. It's stationary. Stationary is 29,000. I think this one is 4,000. Then you have audit fees. So what you will get is get then tax paid. Tax paid is the same. 69 between. That's audit fees. This office rent. Office rent is 228. So 31,500. And lastly, we have advertising. To 680. Now you can balance off that tier account. See which side is more. And I think the credit side is more, so you're likely to get VAT payable. But you can do that and find out. But I'm thinking the credit side is more.
So this short formats, they are writing the only problem is this one here. But then how many is that they are 20. So 20 means 1 for 1, 1 for 1. So can you say 20 is the correction? Not the yes, so you understand that this 3, 1, 2, 3 must be 10. Yes, it must be 10. So most number is 1. This one, within the 9. This one I can keep 1, 2, 3, 4. Then this one I can keep 1, 2, 3, 4. So it means to get this one in correction, we correct. So tax receipt for customers, take out the sheet. Prepare and reconcile. Prepare and reconcile. Prepare and reconcile. Prepare and reconcile. Trade receivables accounts. Prepare and reconcile. Trade receivables accounts. As follows. Trade receivables account. So there we go. Take out the receivables. Receivables. Receivables account. Receivables account. Keep the balance goes down. How much of the balance goes down? Receivables. Check receivables. Receivables at 1 rate. 1 rate. Receivables are net assets. So far, credit sales. Credit sales. For credit sales, we assume, yes, we assume that revenue, the entire revenue was cost. But in the case of the exam, the direct net was here. The credit revenue is 8% of revenue. What one revenue is that? But in this one, the revenue was here. Okay, revenue. Credit sales, subsidiary tax. So let's subsidiary, let's do one one. So subsidiary, let's do one. How much? Get what the balance be. How much? Keep one line, according to examiner, that is not the value of receivables. Then receivables down. That's one. Okay. So receivables went down. Decrease in there has been so the decrease down in receipts from customers. How much? To decrease. That's right. But here we have if subsidiary was acquired in the past, let's proceed. Take out the sheet. Cash paid to the police. Cash paid to the police. Right? Cash paid to the police. Cash paid to the police. Cash paid to the police. Then you say,
So you've added this and you're getting this is 808. 800. 808, 800. And VAT fairway. 88,100. I don't think we can be able to finish another question. in the time remaining. Lakini unaweza kujaribu question 3. But tutaanza part A of question 3. Part A of question 3 says, explain 3 activities that constitute tax evasion in your country. So we'll first explain what tax evasion is. Then we'll explain activities that constitute tax evasion. So, what is tax evasion? Okay, you just say tax evasion, tax evasion, tax evasion is an attempt by a taxpayer. Tax evasion is an attempt by a taxpayer. Tax evasion is an attempt of a taxpayer to reduce their tax liability or burden. To reduce their tax liability or burden. To reduce their tax liability or burden using illegal methods. Using illegal methods or ways. 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 Activities that constitute tax evasion include. Activities that constitute tax evasion include. Activities that constitute tax evasion include. The first activity is non-declaration of income. Non-declaration of income. Non-declaration of income. Non-declaration of income. Next one is under declaration of income. Under declaration of income. Under the declaration of income. Under declaration of income. Next one is preparing fraudulent financial statements. Preparing fraudulent financial statements. Preparing fraudulent financial statements. Next one, making false claims. Making false claims. Making false claims for refund. Making false claims for refund of tax. Making false claims for refund of tax. Another one, inflating allowable expenses of the business. Inflicting allowable expenses of the business. Inflating allowable expenses of the business. Another way, overstating capital expenditure incurred. Overstating capital expenditure incurred. Overstating capital expenditure incurred in acquiring of assets. Overstating capital expenditure incurred in acquiring of assets. Overstating capital expenditure incurred in acquiring of assets in order to claim excessive investment allowances. In order to claim excessive investment allowances. In order to claim excessive investment allowances. Then you can try the B part for the next class. Sawa, thank you very much. Some recording going on here.